Welcome into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. First of all, congratulations on the big win, and just tell us a little bit about what you think this win meant to this team in this moment, coming off the streak that had been happening plus a bye week, and looking at this next stretch of the season, what this meant.
I'm happy about, the bye week. We got to recalibrate, and they came back and practiced, and we focused on the little things, and they executed them in the ball games. In practice, we went back to basics, blocking, tackling, fundamental type of stuff that we were giving up prior to that. And guys came back healthy, but it was really just doing the little things right, and that carried out in the game.
Were there things that you felt like during the self-scouting portion of the bye week that you guys discovered, or that we would have maybe seen evidence of in this game?
No, tweaking techniques were one thing, but just being where they were supposed to be. It was very invisible-like to see from the outside, because there were just normal basic things that we were doing wrong that we had to correct, just lining up in the right place defensively, not getting beat by alignment, offensively finishing the blocks, and from a coaching standpoint, making sure the guys are doing exactly what they are allowed to do and can do. So those are the type of things we really tried to focus on in the bye week, and they kind of paid off for us.
Would you view this as maybe the most complete game of the season in terms of not only just offense and defense, but even pass and run on the offense of all those different phases?
It was definitely one of them. I thought the first game of the year we did some things. I thought we did some things against Philly. This coming back off a bye week at this point in the season from losing 4 in a row, it's got to be easily the most complete one thus far.
Then I know first offensive drive, man, over 8 minutes, 14 plays, second longest drive of the season in both plays and time. 6 different players touched the ball. What stood out to you about that drive to, again, get off to that fast start, jump out to a lead?
Just everybody touching the ball, everybody getting involved early, everybody doing their job, nobody's panicking, everybody was on the same page, and they executed.
I know Jalen McMillan got a catch on that drive. It ended up being his only one of the game, but this was his first outing back from injury. What was it like to have him back out there, and just the hopes for him moving forward now that he's back healthy?
It's great to see him healthy. That was the biggest thing, see him healthy. He did everything full speed. He was open on a few other plays that we couldn't get it to him, but I think it's going up from there. It's going up from there. We're going to need him down the stretch.
And then Mike Evans coming back. That's music to everybody's ears, I'm sure even both sides of the ball, but finished with 68 yards, including a 26-yard catch, and also drew, a huge PI penalty. And I would just love to hear the impact on the game that he had overall, what it's like, how it changes the offense, and then just what you saw from him in his first game back, and how healthy he looked.
Just seeing him out there, he's going to draw double coverage. You're playing with 2 guys on him. You got 9 other guys. That allows everything else to open up. He made plays, and he's going to make plays on doubles anyway, but it allows everything else to open up offensively. Guys like Bucky and McMillan and Otten and everybody else is going to get involved, and we're just happy to have him out there, and he looked good.
Was there a plan to have him on any kind of pitch count or snap count or anything like that, or was it just, hey, we'll see how he does?
No, we let him go. It was the green light, and he felt good afterwards.
And now, not only did you get Mike back, but you had 11 different players record a reception in the game, which is tied for the team's most ever in a single game. It's happened only 4 other times in team history. What does that say about, the game plan, the scheme, the depth, the offense as a whole?
It's a credit to Liam. It's definitely a credit to Baker, finding different guys. And when Mike and Chris got hurt and we had to go with a lot of other guys, they got some valuable experience and they earned his trust. And when Mike came back, he just threw to the open guy, and it was easy for him, and it wasn't new to him or anything else. And I'm proud of him the way he found the open guys and got everybody involved.
Now, I think everybody loves Vita, but everybody really loves Vita at fullback, especially if you look online as that's happening. Take us through that play where he was in and Sean Tucker scored the touchdown.
Vita's a load, so whether he blocks you or misses you, you're going to jump around him or he's going to run you over, and all Sean had to do was stay right behind him, and I'm sure he's going to be lobbying for the ball pretty soon. Basically,
just the parting of the Red Sea is Vita's job at that point.
That's exactly what it is.
I know that for you guys also, it's our 5th time scoring a touchdown on the opening drive this season, and after we know that the last couple seasons and last year that had been an area of struggle, what seems to have changed to help you guys really be getting out to those faster starts, getting 7 instead of 3 or 0 on that opening drive?
Just the focus and the execution. The focus and the execution, I think the leaders are doing a good job understanding how we have to start, and the urgency is there, and we're not making as many mistakes.
6 games now with at least 30 points scored this season, which ties for the second most in the NFL, trailing only the Buffalo Bills. What does that say to you about just the points, and then what also has that allowed you guys on defense to be able to do in the way it affects the entire game?
Well, if you can get a lead and jump out, that allows you to do a lot of things from a pass rush standpoint and a blitz standpoint. So getting out early yesterday was a great thing for the defense to get some stops and then pin their ears back and get after the quarterback.
I know also the last 2 games before this one, there were no offensive plays over 20 yards. And then suddenly this game, you had 5 different players getting receptions over 25 yards. And of course, the one run for 56. What did you see as the difference in specifically the explosive plays category?
Just doing the little stuff, setting up the small plays. The small plays and doing the right things will set up the big plays. A little bit of quick passing, a little bit of the running game kind of brought them up a little bit so we can go over the top. And when everything's working, the bank's open.
I know we had 4 different players rush for a touchdown, which is the first time in franchise history that's happened. Plus, we already have more rushing touchdowns now than all of last year. How unique is it for you guys to have so many different players who can contribute specifically to the run game?
It's great to have a lot of options. You keep the defense off balance, and if you can keep them off balance, bringing different guys in there, whether it's change of pace, whether they're power, or whether they're speed backs, you can kind of keep them off balance, and you can do a lot of things that way.
I know that Sean Tucker had a 4th down conversion, a touchdown, but also a fumble and a bit of an issue on 1 kick return. What would you rate his game overall and the things that you saw from him?
With the 2 fumbles, it wasn't very good. We got to take care of the football. Got to take care of the football. Sean knows that, and we'll get better next week.
I know Bucky ended up 87 yards rushing and a touchdown, which is his 5th of the year, leading rookies across the league. A new season high also in 64 receiving yards. So season best 149 yards from scrimmage, and we could hear the Bucky chants all the way up in New York. Tell me what stood out to you about this game and just what this says about where he's at this season and the ability to produce huge games like this.
He's tough. That was a tough defensive front he went against. He was breaking tackles, making people miss. He's mentally tough. The moment's not too big for him. The moment's not too big for him. The 3-headed monster's working pretty good. Rashad gets his touches. Sean got his touches. They all scored. But he can make people miss out in space. I'm telling you, I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. He can really make people miss.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Todd Bowles Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. Take us also through Baker's touchdown. There was a lot of unique aspects to that one, shall we say.
Baker was feeling good yesterday, and he was really into the flow of the game. When he wasn't dispersing the ball all the way around, he saw an opening, he took it. Don't like him going airborne too many times, but he got the touchdown, and he made some great scrambles yesterday that really helped us out.
Does his celebration after that seem like something you would have done back in the day as well?
I don't think I would have done it back in the day, but I understand. When he's into the game and he's rolling like that, you got to let him go. It
did feel like this was one of the games where we saw the most of his, I don't know how else to say it other than like moxie, that the scrambling he did, a little skirmish on the sideline, that kind of celebration, out there blocking for Bucky's big run. I'm sure maybe a few of those things we would prefer he did a little less of, maybe not. But what did you see from just the overall attitude that he had in this game and the effort behind it and what it did for the team?
The blocking play he made on Bucky's run was probably the best play I've seen him do this year, regardless of anything else. That's impressive for a quarterback to run down the field that far and say, follow me, and still get a chip block off that way. That means he's all in, the team's all in, everybody sees he's out there doing everything else, and it just hypes the team up more.
And then how about the rest of his game? We know this was the first one all season without a passing touchdown for him, but it's because he didn't seem to need to. So tell us about just the rest of his game outside of those plays and what you saw.
I thought he was sharp. They got some great pass rushes, outside and inside. He was sharp. They did a good job blocking for him. He found the open guys. He made some great throws, one to Rock. He got one in there to Cade in some tight windows. He managed the game well when he had to manage it. He threw it when he had to throw it, and he scrambled when he had to scramble.
Then I know we've talked about Bucky's game and just the run game overall, 156 yards as a team, 3rd most in a game this season. And you mentioned that it's a tough front to go against with the Giants. I wanted to give it an opportunity to talk about the offensive line when, they don't always get all the credit, and specifically just some of the guys on that unit that have stood out to you, and without Tristan Wirfs to still put on that kind of a show, both in protecting Baker and the run game. What did you see?
Well, one of my favorite players is Luke Gedeke because Luke, he loves ball. He goes to fight, and he shows up all the time. He played well. I thought he did a lot of good things. I thought Bredesen going back to New York Giants and with something to prove in his mind. I thought he played very well. Cody and Graham we already talked about. And I thought Schooley playing left tackle for the first time, going up against some tough competition. I thought he handled himself well.
And then I know we also saw, we mentioned earlier how many different guys were getting involved. We saw a 26-yard catch for Payne Durham, 30-yard catch for Rakim Jarrett. And I'd love to hear about those two guys and those two plays specifically to know that not only did you get guys involved who aren't always, but they were these big-time chunk plays.
Payne has outstanding hands. He doesn't have the speed the other tight ends have, but he has a big catch radius. And I think we can get to using him more right there. Rock has been like that since he's come back. Outstanding hands, great competitor, always in the right spot, and he's always going to make a play when he's out there.
I know Cade got a 30-yard catch, which was his 50th reception of the season, which is a single-season career high for him. Only the fifth tight end in Bucs history with at least that many in a season, and for it to already be this early in the year to have that. What has changed about Cade, about the offense and situations, trust with Baker, any of those things, to have him now be a guy where just total number of receptions even has gone up this much?
Just having guys out and we leaning on him more and him picking up the slack and being able to catch the ball and run patterns that he normally wouldn't have had to run, just picking up the slack for everybody else. So now when everybody comes back, he's built in part of the offense right now and we can rely on him. I just want his hair to grow back and he probably won't drop any more balls.
You think that was the thing?
He's like Samson. He's like Samson.
The hair is the strength. I like it. We'll let him know. I know you guys as a defense allowed just 45 yards of offense for the Giants in the first half, which is the fewest allowed by us in any half this season, fewest in any half since 4 years ago. How were you guys able to get to such a fast start on the defensive side of things and then to even be, still pitching a shutout going into the fourth quarter?
Winning first down. It started up front with Vida and Calijah. They were getting after the quarterback. I thought Yaya, the sacks didn't come up, but he had probably his best rush game from the outside. He was in the backfield all day. I'm proud of him because he was working his technique and everything else. He was getting off the ball, but we won first down. That put him in second and third and long. We were able to take advantage of it.
I know that at some point you learned that it would be DeVito instead of Daniel Jones. And how did that affect the game planning and just when in the process did you start realizing that that was going to be the situation?
We knew at the beginning of the week, and we heard rumblings up there, but we knew at the beginning of the week, and it couldn't change what they were doing. So we just focused on playing the Giants instead of focusing on the quarterback.
Although I will say, coming into the game, he had the highest sack rate of any quarterback going back to the start of last season. Coincidentally, you had a blitz rate of 78% in the first half compared to your normal 32. Tell me the thoughts behind just sending the house, going full send all first half.
Well, getting back to basics for us on the bye week is being who we are. Being who we are, we're probably a pretty good rate blitz team. So without having the injuries, with everybody coming back for the most part, we can kind of get back to who we are.
All right, we're going to take another quick break here on the Todd Bowles Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. So Calijah, his fifth sack of the season in just 6 games, which already surpassed his total from last season, temporarily tied him with Vida for the team lead. And so take us through that sack and just what you've seen of his ability to produce on that level this year.
He's the only one up front that can get off a block and then explode from A to B right now. I mean, his closing speed on the quarterback is faster than what the quarterback thinks it is, and he can get there right now, and it kind of surprises quarterbacks because he's so quick getting back there, and he's still tapping his potential, and he can see what he can do right now, and that's a scary thought.
It also feels like in a league where it is increasingly hard to lay a hit on a quarterback and it not result in a flag, he is really good at still, as we saw, laying some hits in a legal way. How hard is that to do at this point, and how good is he at that?
That's hard. It's difficult. He can still get the hit and make sure he either lets go or goes to the side and not pile on the quarterback. And, with him and Vida in there and Vida commanding a lot of attention, it's allowing him to get some plays in. And when they start going to him, it allows Vida to make some plays.
Yeah, and it felt like Vida then was like, wait a minute, I have to get mine now. I can't have you leading these things. So then Vida got his own sack to retake the lead with 6 on the season. Take us through that play.
He's on a mission. He just ran over the center. It was just brute strength right there, and he ran over the center, and he was determined to get back there, and he got back there.
It is crazy to feel like he almost should be doing that every play, because that's how we feel about him, even though we forget he's going against the best of the best in the world on the other side. But he's just so talented in that way. And what does it mean to have guys like him and Calijah together on the interior specifically, even though I know, maybe you want your outside linebackers to have a few more sack numbers, but to know you're getting that kind of pressure from those two guys on the inside, how does that affect the rest of what you're able to do defensively?
It's great because it flushes the quarterback out the pocket. If the outside guys get up the field and just keep contained, they'll fall into some sacks because those two guys are playing well inside. Not only that, they've become better leaders off the field. They really try to get everybody else going on defense, and that's great for Calijah. Vita's been doing it. This is for Calijah coming into his own, and it's part of his growth, and it's really good to see.
And then tell us about the decision to sign Mike Edwards coming into this game and the role you had envisioned for him prior to Jordan getting hurt in the game, how you were going to use him and the decision to bring him back.
No, we were going to play extra DBs, and Mike was the perfect guy to bring back because he already had knowledge of the system, his savviness and understanding of the game and the scheme, the way he can disguise, the way he can play both safety spots. He can play nickel, he can mask outside at corner. He allows us to do quite a few more things. He opens up Levante, he opens up Winfield, he opens up Jordan. He allows us to do quite a few things, so bringing him back was a no-brainer.
So then now, I know while we're shooting this, we still don't know Jordan Whitehead's situation, but if he does miss time, how does that change the way that you might use Mike and maybe make that signing even better?
Just getting him caught up, number one, making sure that he's comfortable when he's out there. And then as he gets more comfortable, depending on who we're playing in the situation, between Izzy and Tavier and Mike, we'll put some guys in there.
And then Levante tied Bobby Wagner for the most career passes defensed among all active linebackers, also forced a fumble, the 31st of his career, which ties for the second most among active players. Take us through his game overall and then just hearing some of those numbers.
He played well. He zone dropped well. He tackled well. He pressured well. He had some good rushes. The ball just got out quick because he could have had a couple sacks himself. But him, Tyke, and Winfield have a knack for punching the ball out at key situations. They're very good when they're in stacks and then piles and they can get the ball out.
And then, tell us what it meant to have Jamel back, but then still also be missing Tyke and the influence on the defense with both of those guys.
With Dean back, I thought he played a smart game for the most part. He understood where everything was supposed to be. He did his assignment. He did a lot of small things that got back to basics that helped him play a lot easier, where he didn't have to overuse his legs too much and hamstring, but he played well.
And then Tyke Smith, what does it mean to be missing him, and when maybe could we see him coming back?
Hopefully he's back soon. He's another guy that can get the ball out. He's a turnover machine. Izzy played well. Tyke brings a different dimension as well. Like both of them out there. If we can get both of them back, we can try to do some things to get them both out there. But he tackles well. He takes on blocks well. So anytime you can get somebody missing and get them back like that, it helps.
All right, we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back on the Todd Bowles Show. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. Looking forward to this Carolina game. What is it like to face Dave Canales when you are so familiar with him, obviously, and then just what you know he has brought to this Panthers team so far this season?
He's done a great job. I mean, he had to build it from the ground up, and still in his first year, you can see the dividends starting to pay off. Those guys are playing way better than they played in the beginning of the season on both sides of the football. Again, they took Kansas City to the limit yesterday. And I'm proud of the way he's handling things in and out of public, and they're doing a very good job. It's going to be a tough game.
Tell me what you've noticed about their offense so far and the way it's developed with Bryce Young and then some of the other weapons that they have. What stands out?
Well, Bryce is more comfortable now. He's always been a good football player, but he hadn't had a chance to show it yet. Being a rookie is tough sometimes, but he's settled down, and you can see him making throws, off-schedule throws, on-schedule throws. He's comfortable in the pocket. Looks like he has a good command of the offense right now, and he's playing well.
And who are some of the other weapons that stand out to you that you'll have to prepare for?
They got a couple wideouts. Obviously, Tompkins is there, and he's playing good football. They got their first-round pick, and he's playing very good football. I mean, he's going to be something to deal with. He can catch and run with the best of them. They have a huge offensive line. They have very good guards on both sides of the ball. They have very good tackles on both sides of the ball. So it's going to be tough for us.
Well, Coach, thank you as always for your time. We really appreciate it, and congratulations on that win.
Thank you.